Hey everyone, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to evercrisis. Yuffie is currently out, new banner weapon plus a costume, and all her weapons just got released. I'm going to be talking about every single one of them, but before we jump in, a little disclaimer, there was a notice saying that there's something wrong with the C abilities of certain weapons of hers. So this video might be wrong depending on what they end up changing. Is there going to be compensation? Is it going to be a nerf, a buff? Is it just something minor? I don't know. We don't know yet as the time of this recording. I just want to give you guys a heads up that we actually might see something change on the actual abilities of these weapons. So just a heads up, I'm going to jump in, first reaction, what these weapons are, how good they are, how bad, all depending. But from what I can see, I love her kit. It's amazing. So with that being said, let's jump in and check her out. All right, so let's jump in and talk about her new costume and weapon. And then I'm going to go over her current weapons, wish listing. I do want to give a little bit of a heads up here that even though I'm going to talk about where she fits and how powerful and how much it works, it doesn't mean she replaces what I'm talking about. AKA she has fire, ice, and lightning defense down, but we have Red 13 Seaside Caller, Lucia has Bald Eagle, Sephiroth has his new fire weapon, right? Just because I'm going to give this a lot of praise doesn't mean it's necessary, doesn't mean you have to pull for it. I'm just going to talk about how good it is, and it's very, very good. It doesn't mean that you need her in order to pass the content. I'm just going to give you guys setups, talk about how strong the weapons are, and where they work and where they don't work. So, with that being said, just because I'm about to praise this doesn't mean you have to go and change your entire game setup. So, jumping in with the banner right now, costume's really cute. It's called Winter Moogle. It looks like a Moogle. You can't beat that. Super adorable. Same style as Aerith's ice setup. She has the same texture and everything. Everything looks really, really good, right? They did great with her. Now, actually, let's talk about the costume. Costume, it's going to make sense in just a second as I go through this video, but I really like this. It's not an Arcanium, it's not a Mastery, it's not applying damage, but it is applying a ton of damage for what it does. This buff duration, when I first glanced at it, I'm like, what do you mean stats, potency, resistance? How's that work? How's it going to... It's just saying that buff/debuffs that increase stats, potency, and resistance down, aka fire resist down, and maybe eventually fire resist up or something, right? That's increasing how long it lasts. So if the buff is there for 30 seconds, you add 10%, it's now there for 33 seconds, all the way up to 200%. So if a buff is 30 seconds, you increase it by 200%. You have a buff for a minute and 30 seconds, which is crazy, unless my math is wrong, which it usually is, but that's nuts, right? 1/4 ATB cast, so you want to stack this. This is the key to Yuffie's banner. This right here is what makes her very unique. And it goes along with her Arctic Star, which again, as a reminder, is one of the weapons in the notices that says the C ability, which is this, is not displayed correctly. So I'm not sure if they're talking about it's not supposed to have healing potency, it's supposed to be regen instead or something, right? Or I don't know, but just a little heads up. So Arctic Star, as a first copy, just one, having 232 physical attack, making her a physical damage dealing unit, right? With the current buff, she does have a magic attack up one, but we'll talk about that afterwards. She increases the physical attack of an ally, mid-tier, and herself, mid-tier. I'm going to consider this the first AoE buff weapon in the game, because usually you have a party of 2 damage dealers and a healer with all the utility, right? So you don't really need a 3 AoE physical attack up. It helps for summons, and it helps if your healer is more of a DPS than healing, right? Obviously, once we get a 3 attack up one for all 3 party members, it's going to be nice. But this is considered a full team buff in my eyes, because it takes care of her and it takes care of your main DPS that is there. And the way her R abilities work and her other weapons, she is a very powerful character as well. So not only does she increase the physical attack by mid-tier, at OB6 it is high tier for your ally, and you stay at mid no matter what. OB6, OB10, right? You get 11 copies of this weapon. You're still doing mid physical attack for yourself. The duration though is 26 seconds. And this is where this comes in. The R ability is physical attack. If this was something different, I would say, I don't know if I'm going to bring in Yuffie, because then she's not going to be strong enough. It's that Glenn situation again, where Glenn has good, but he doesn't do as much damage, so on and so on. But because she has the physical attack on here and buff duration, Once you put on your costume and you OB6 this weapon, which you should be aiming for, not I mean right now on this banner, but wish listing down the line, plus these pulls, hopefully you get lucky very soon to OB6, you're going to be around the 35 point mark. Let's just say you do hit the 35 point mark because your other weapon also has it. You're going to increase that duration of 26 seconds by 150%, which is really over a minute. So for a whole minute, Yuffie's going to be buffed, and Cloud, Tifa, whoever your physical DPS is going to be buffed for a minute for 4 ATB. You don't have to refresh it for a whole minute. That is huge. And that just gets better and better and better the more you stack this, making Yuffie one of the best characters that's going to be on multiple teams for multiple reasons. But this is core number one, that she has an AoE buff, aka herself and the other main damage dealer. It is so strong. The materia slots are 20%ers, 2 of them, which is really good. Again, physical tackles of 510. There is no damage on this weapon, and that doesn't matter because her other weapons take care of that without a problem. So the fact that she's got boost physical attack and buff duration, which can be an aura ability sub-slot for another character, whoever you throw it on, right? 12 will get you to 40% increase. So whoever else has buffing that you want to put this on them, that can work for them too, not just for her. So that's really strong setup in my eyes. I love this. Now, the rest of her kit really complements it. And this is my no overboost account. I can literally pull one copy, her costume, and it would make a huge difference to my account, especially because I have Healing Barret. And in my eyes, Healing Barret is one of the best when it comes to actually buffing. So here's an example of Barret with Cloud and Tifa. You remove Tifa, or you can keep Tifa because Yuffie also applies to any physical damage dealer, but I really like Cloud. Tifa's another option because she has the physical Ice Arcanium. But in this case, let me just say Cloud's in the party, Tifa's being replaced by Yuffie, and Barret's over here. Here's the core, right? Barret, he's got healing AoE because of Kiraga, right? Or Kira turned into AoE. He's got defense down. Then you're going to put in Yuffie, who has buff attack for herself, for Cloud, and then her other weapon, depending on who you're facing, if you're facing an enemy who's fire, then you're using Ifrit and Fire Cloud. You put fire defense down, right? If you use Murasami Cloud with thunder, then you put lightning resistance down. And if not, she has her own weapons that are very powerful that she can put on and do damage while she's also double buffing. It's a great combo. If you do Tifa instead of Cloud and you're using Yuffie over here and Tifa brings defense down, right? 2 tiers. Barret's will drop it down to 3 tiers, and then her limit break, will also talk about that in a second, will increase everybody's magic attack, and there's healing in there. It's so... she works in so many different situations, but this is the idea. We got a buffer, we got a defense down, we got heals, we've got a buff for physical attack 2 times in one cast for over a minute with any utility you need. Physical attack down, right? And then if you don't need the defense down, you can put down physical defense up with Barret, right? And then you have your damage dealer just going off. All damage dealing weapons, nothing utility wise, just the strongest weapons, making Yuffie very, very powerful in a physical team just because she can take care of herself and someone else. And Barret does that job great because of defense down. You can also use Aerith, who has a Sun Umbrella. If you have that OB6, you're doing 2 tiers down of magic and physical, which helps for the summons with the magic part, but the physical part 2 tiers down is all you really need. Being buffed by 3 tiers and 2 tiers and 2 defense down against any enemy is ridiculous damage. And then if you're facing an element that she can drop, ice, fire, or lightning, that's even more damage. So there's just so much utility and power when it comes to Yuffie being part of the team. Now, why is this so good? It's her weapons that comes with her rest of her kit. So the boomerang is her fire resist down. So this is like Sephiroth's new weapon. Sephiroth has both defense down and fire resist down, but this utilizes mid tier to high tier at OB6, and it applies physical boost as well, 34 points. I can probably move to the other side of the screen so you guys can see everything I'm talking about. So you see 34 points there, 24 fire on top, and then she's got 20% slots at all 3 of them. So she can just carry all the utility you need. And then if you're doing with Murasami Cloud or another lightning damage dealer, we've got Thunder resist down for mid to high tier with boost physical attack again to go along with her main hand weapon. That's the featured weapon, and more buff duration, right? And on top of it, this has a 30% lightning potency. So just like Sephiroth has his 30% fire, this is really, really strong, giving her good lightning damage as well, right? Also, you got the 450% physical non-elemental damage if you have to use it there, but it's just there for the for the thunder down. Then you have ice down, which is a good sub weapon. A lot of these weapons are great for R abilities, by the way. She has so much R ability that she's going to change up the other characters just by pulling for her weapons and over boosting them. But ice resist down from mid to high, again, very powerful. And these usually last for like 22 seconds, but because of her buff duration that she has, it's going to double and a half, which is crazy good. And then she has like an ice weapon, I believe. Sorry, this is the AoE wind one. Again, new weapons with boost boost attack, wind potency, right? She's got a poison one as well. This is the ice weapon where she can use with her ice resist down. Huge 800% boost physical attack 40, 36 R ability, one copy 440, super strong, 20%ers in the back. Then she's got this new, and I think she's the first one in the game to actually have poison. So she has a 70% chance to apply poison to the enemy. I have to test this. I don't know how good it is, but once I get my hands on it, I will test it for you guys. It's just going to be where those enemies are immune to poison. Usually the critical battles, really hard ones, the ones that matter, probably won't let you cheese with poison, but it depends how strong this poison is. Will probably even make her that much more powerful too. But you also have the choice of poison. Her free weapon over here has physical attack up for all enemies. OB6 is still low, or sorry, it goes to mid, which is incredible, but it never goes to high, but it doesn't matter. You have an AoE physical attack down, buffing machine, debuffing, damage, buff duration, right? She's got a little bit of everything you need. Then you have your earth damage with magic, and you have a magic buffing weapon. So she's got so much good R for other characters and for herself. She can be whatever. She's a Swiss Army knife. She's that thing you bring camping that lets you do anything and everything. Make a fire, cut wood, make a boat, build a tent. She is incredible. I love her kit. And I know I explained the party setup before I showed you the weapons, but now that I've told you that she has fire resist down, ice resist down, lightning resist down, Cloud. A kit with Cloud, lightning, and fire. A kit with Tifa, Tifa physical, her and Tifa during ice enemies. Her alone in dungeons like the High Score Challenge, where we have two elements. Currently, we did the one with, what was it? It was just ice and earth, right? Imagine we get a new dungeon ranking that's lightning and ice, or lightning and fire, or fire and ice. She can come in and apply both of them down while doing anything else she does with materia, right? So the fact that she has so much in one kit means that if you're new to the game, you didn't get Seaside Caller, Bald Eagle, all those other debuffing elemental weapons, she has everything. If you focus on her and you OB6 a bunch of her weapons, she is going to be there on a physical team 100%, and she can also work on a magic team while lowering those elemental damage. And then we got to figure out poison. So this overall, I think, is very powerful. Now, I said in the beginning of this, does it replace what you have already? If you have close to OB something on those other weapons, other characters, no, she's not necessary, but she adds so much to the table, making her very, very strong. So I think overall, Yuffie is a great addition. If you're pulling for her, you're going to love her kit. She's going to fit so well with Cloud. You're going to see your Cloud's going to do so much more damage, especially if you buff his attack, lower defense, and lower elemental damage. Your Cloud is just going to be next level. Your Tifa, your physical DPS, it doesn't matter. She's going to add so much to the party. Her limit break, physical attack is increased. Mid-tier, all allies. Duration 10 seconds. This increases as you level it up. And the buff duration from her costume and her weapon increases how long her limit break lasts as well. She increases physical and magic to the entire party while applying regen, and magic heal is cast for 30% of healing potency, all allies. She regens, she heals, she buffs magic, and she buffs physical. And she applies all that utility while she can be built as a DPS as well. Not as strong because she doesn't have an Arcanium or Mastery costume, but she brings that buffing to herself with a lot of defense down, physical attack down, other weapons like her ice weapon. She can be very strong against ice enemies. It's just overall, she can fit in so many places. She just works. And I really like this buff duration. And she doesn't have a debuffing weapon yet. The second she gets a debuffing, this will apply to defense down, physical or magical. She does have the element defense down, but wait till she gets everything. She's going to be that character that you can slide into almost every party and you'll never regret it. Now, is there downsides? Is there other characters that are stronger? If you already have them built, double DPS instead of a buffer. Someone who's like, oh, I have Murasami Cloud or Final Fantasy 9 Cloud and Tifa, or I have a Sephiroth and a Cloud, or I have 2 DPS that are fully built out. Yeah, just run your 2 DPS, a healer, and you don't need to do anything. My main account has Cloud, who's like 4,000 attack. I don't even run defense down. I don't even run any buffs, and I'm still passing all the content without a problem. So no buffs, no debuffs, just straight 4,000 attack character, and I'm doing fine. So it's like, you don't have to go out of your way. It's just a nice addition to the team. If you wishlist this, wishlist her 3 weapons, right? Because that puts her in any situation. The lightning down, ice down, fire down. Grab one of her strong weapons. If you want to use her for a magic team, grab magic, but I highly recommend that this one character can do it all. You might as well, because if you have an enemy you face as fire, you bring her in, fire defense down, buff both you and your physical attack, and now you have double damage. You're not only buffing yourself, you're lowering defense, your healer can lower the rest of the defense of physical or magical, and you're just going to pop off. I think it's highly recommended to pull these 3. Don't worry, I didn't forget about Glenn's weapon. So Glenn got a new weapon. It's basically Cloud Zidane's weapon, just a little bit weaker, but it adds a lot. It adds a lot to the game as well. If you actually get his ultimatic, I think is how you say it. He's got Circle Sigil Break just from naturally casting the C ability, which starts at 520 non-physical to 910 at OB6 to 1040. It's not that far off weaker. It's about 200 and something, 260 maybe. I forget what the Zidane weapon maxes out to, like 1300. But 1000 non-elemental, 54 boost attack, and boost physical ability potency. This is going to be great to add on your Final Fantasy 9 Cloud or Tifa. But not only that he has Circle Sigil Breaking, he's got great R abilities. He also applies X Sigil Breaking. So he can do both Circle and X, and sometimes that's very important, especially when you have enemies who have all 3, Circle, Triangle, and X, and you need your materia slots for other elements, right? And there you're like, oh, but I gotta run X, Circle, and Triangle. He's got 2 of them, which works out really nice, right? So that's a great addition. 566 physical attack, boost attack 54, boost physical ability potency. Throw this on your other characters as a back weapon. It's a solid weapon, making Glenn much more powerful now than he was before. Just not for elemental setups, and he's also still kind of like missing that costume to go along with it, right? But overall, great. It's great that Glenn's getting some more attention. You'd probably just pair this up with the buffing weapon because it has boost physical attack, and you can also buff someone, which is nice. But it's got boost ability potency, boost physical attack, where everything else doesn't have boost physical attack. It's all boost attack, and you don't really want that. So these 2 together is going to be really nice for Glenn. Overall, great weapon for sub-weapons, great weapon for Glenn, for Circle and X Sigil Breaking, if you guys do use them. So yeah, like I said, it's not the end-all, break-all. You don't really need to go out of your way to make sure you replace a bunch of characters for this, but it fits very nicely. She's a great character, great utility, and if you just get her weapons, they're going to be great R abilities for your other characters that are already super strong. Again, let me know what you guys are doing down below. Did you pull for Yuffie? I hope you had great luck. I wish you guys nothing but the best in your pulls. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell you later.